We are the monsters. We are the windows boarded shut, straight-jacketed, wandering wielders of the word, the Cream City Kids creative collective, born again and bathing in the season's autumnal cadence of colliding colors. And we are the compiled culture of this crumbling concrete, crashing cosmically into the abstraction's abyss, with our hands held firmly under an enlarged moon, dripping clouds of lunar blood into the raging mouth of the roots. And it is that from which we have been named: Michigan martinis and long walks to nowhere, lattes in libraries with libacious liberties, racing Racine, seeing sun rays sweet serene like porters. We collapse into a dream, and we scream and we cry with our mouths as opened as the mic. And yes, we are the monsters. We are the brain-bubbling dreams of ourselves spilling over into the streets, the freaks of this city that sip simply on the Great Basin, the great poetic Cape Lake, giving voices to the gutters that have lost their paths. The 6th Street siren criers of a new dawn that breaks like hearts placed behind the doors of Marsh Meredith. And where have this been all my life? How these passions, they bend, how they twist in tune, how the flames are stoked, how we are the flue. So breathe beautifully, my darlings, because I love how you are, and I love that you burn catalog ash in the pits of this urn. Yes, you have earned these earnest leaves of laurel, scattered the streets of Maine, made a mark. You've pushed 11th and Park, how we need to create to continue to build this art. That initial mainframe, that electric spark from the stem to the brain and back to start, where I continue to reference residuals of where we still reside. If these walls could talk, they wouldn't. They would simply listen to us monsters, to us spooks, to this place I was born in the halls of St. Luke's. How many of us share these same sacred roots? An ode to my friends, my companions in crime, a pen to a city where I may just die, my love. Continue to fill me so that I may be poured again, for I would never know such fire without all of you there to help ignite the empty spaces between the hollows of these illuminated bones. I could never weep these same intentions without you all there to always salt this flowing stream of my life ineffable. So I give thanks to my breath and my brethren as one. Thanks to this rooted place that is so perfectly human-shaped as we stand on this, the greatest of lakes, and together we will sing this city to sleep. And together we will interpret our dreams.
No gods, no peace. Note: the largest expansion of spirituality worldwide is those of us that answer the religious question with none. In every religious tradition, there is us and them. And every religious tradition has trust stains on their hands. Ask the staked altar boys and witches. Listening to the radio made you feel safe, you said, as if the distance of hellfire, of terror threat, became tolerable. Nobody wants a martyr in training living next door, you said. But you hire them to indoctrinate your children every Sabbath and holy day. Feed them the afternoon snack of bigotry and certain righteous indignation and manifest destiny. Why, you yourself take the wafer of flesh and bubbly of blood. Of course you must first cast out that demon reason and common sense. One wouldn't want you confused enough to realize that your worship of ignorance in 1,000-year-old books written by illiterate papes that knew less of the real world than those children of yours. See flat earth. You allow them to slip damnation under your nails a sluice at a time, so no one notices the blood that it raises with every God's bless America. You build your wall around those parts of you that could save. Please, continue to wear down, to bear down, to dam and block tolerance. Spend your shekels to litigate monuments to prop up guilt. Please, wear out the sheen on that crucifix, passed down from generation to generation, till there is nothing left but the recognition your particular brand of tolerance is really no different than the tear out your radio.
When I was little, I always wanted to be a teacher. I would play school with my little sister in our basement, with workbooks to give homework, a Sesame Street chalkboard, and even my own grade book. My dreams of teaching didn't diminish as I got older. I was continually inspired by the educators that changed my life, that saved my life. I could see myself standing in a room full of students, sharing my passion for learning with them. I never thought that illness would rip that dream away, would steal the experience of going to university, getting a degree, holding down a part-time job. And I never imagined that I would still become a teacher. Because I am a teacher, I educate others every single day. I teach vocabulary, like cisgender and genderqueer. I teach grammar. Transgender is an adjective, not a noun, and it is transgender, not transgendered. I teach biology, the chromosomes, body parts, and hormone levels that people use to define biological sex binary are neither binary nor universal. And I teach math. X is equal to the number of times it is appropriate to ask a person you are not intimately involved with about their genitals. Solution equals X equals 0. But teaching people who have been raised to believe in false dichotomies their entire life, boy and girl, straight and gay, blue and pink, can be like trying to convince a brick wall to become a window. Most of my students sleep through my lessons too hungover with privilege to stay awake. I am surrounded by pupils who raise their voices when they want to ask a question and raise their fists when they don't like the answer. People are unaware how hurtful it is to be invisible, how it feels to be invalidated by every part of society. The only time people notice that we exist is when they want something from us, when they want us to be something that we are not, a fetish, a scapegoat, a statistic, such as compared to the suicide rate of 4.6% for the overall US population, 41% of transgender or non-gender conforming people have attempted suicide. I am part of that 41%, and that is why I teach. That is why I will answer hateful questions and redirect ingrained ignorance. I let people know things about me that most people are afraid to ask. Because the only way to stop fear of the unknown is to make it known. Knowledge is how we can make a difference. Knowledge is how we save lives. So take out your notebooks and your pens, because class is in session. Thank you.
Today begins the day where we all can stand up for what's in our hearts, not sit down to prove our point. Be proud with a smile on your face while you place your hands on the human being next to you. It doesn't matter where you originate from. Our hearts have beats. We breathe from the same oxygen. We all have a light inside us. When that burns out, then we lay in the same ground our feet grew on. I think enough people return to the earth each day that society doesn't need to help. We need to nurture in order to survive on this planet. When the sun is on your face, you can't see colors. At night, our minds rest so we may dream. Awake and live up to the golden rule. Break bread with others, not their trust. Have faith in something, even if it's only you. Stop with all the anger because that fuels hate. Hate leads to killing. No one should feel the need to take a life in order to save theirs. Instead, help others so that they may live. Why do we need to fight for freedom when everyone deserves the same respect? Why are laws written to protect us, but then harm so many? Why can't anyone believe what gives them purpose without someone to try and to take that away? I don't know the answer to these questions, but I do know this. The answer to life is love, because love leads to peace. Thank you.
A little redemption was needed. Thank you for that, Debbie. Thank you, Brother Marley, for contributing that song for us to do. Okay, so it's like almost the middle of the night, almost. So don't get too antsy. But what that means is I'm gonna put the organizers of the event right smack dab in the middle. So I met this young man when he was like 5 years old, going to open mics. He was like this big. He was an embryo, actually. I could put him in my pocket, take him with me. But now he's running open mics, and he just locked in the Racine Arts Council to start his poetry series again. I should probably raise this mic because he was tall as me. Everybody give it up for your boy Kevo G.
Okay. Can everybody hear me all right? Yes. I hate mics. I was told I got 5 minutes, and I was told that we could use what kind of language we want. I know this is a church and I have so much respect for God, so I'm asking for forgiveness before I pray. That kind of church, I don't know what kind of church it is, but vampire church? What kind of church? But I'm asking for forgiveness, so please forgive me before I do this. Two pieces. The first one is a situation I had with child support, the child support system and my kids, and then the second one is about abortion. So it goes, fighting for one, but I'll die for the other. I gotta serve subpoenas to both baby mamas. One won't show up, the other try to turn up. Child support dropped my case. I'm like, wait, hold up. What about my daughter? You see, I'm trying to be a father. Plus, I know my skin tone is making this shit harder. But y'all keep telling me to let go and let God, but when I let go, no. I'm tired of being cordial. Look at all that I go through. I didn't notice my own little girl inside a tutu. You see, my demons, they're chasing away all the angels on my shoulders, and my mama crying tears, because you see I'm growing colder, but I can give a fuck less, because y'all will give a fuck more, so if I do check out, you know what it's all for, because everything's broke. That's that. I'm a little horrible. Okay. This next one is about abortion. It's a situation, I try to tell both sides of the story, from a father's perspective to the mother's perspective. So here we go. I wrote something you could take the first steps to, because the Lord knows that He's blessed you. He'll probably punish me for the things that I did. My unborn child's like, Pops, let me live. But your mom, she don't want you here. Yeah, we did have love, but it disappeared. And y'all protested, so please forgive me and do understand that I do want you here with me. I'm drinking Hennessy like you'll be all right, but when she do it, I'll probably cry all night. See, you could have been a Drake or even Beyonce. I never did stop to think what the heck my mom said. You could have cured AIDS, you could have cured cancer, you could have saved souls, you could have been a pastor. I try to tell your mom, but no one's the answer. She ain't trying to raise up another little bastard. But I said I'll be right there. She acting like she don't care. I'm trying, baby, I swear. Cause I just want you right here, close to me. Some lady said you was a boy. Your mom said that she didn't want to know it. I'm steady talking to her. She steady crying to me. You're supposed to be here. You're steady lying to me. You're choosing her over me. Over we. Remember me and you planned for this family? Remember when you told me to take my patch off and now I'm pregnant, boy? Now your ass want to back off. But forget that, because I ain't in this by myself. I already got one. Her daddy never helps. I moved out the house for you, did all this shit just for you. And I just gave you your baby, so what the can I offer you? Because you don't want to be here. A single mother with two, and that's everything that I fed. Now I'm calling this clinic, and I don't care you offended. You should have left me alone. This could have been prevented. But you said you'd be right here. You acting like you don't care. You lied. I heard you swear. You know I want you right here, close to me. That's it.
You're not standing crooked, says bartender God. The room is just tilted. This be that white dove sleight of hand a carny rigs his game with. This is the law. True. But whose law? The law of those whose kills go unconvicted? This be that law that turns jailbait into fair game the moment they hit their 6,570th day. The law that transforms ankle biters into suddenly registered voters. The law that gives bartender God the sudden license to serve me. I set this poem in a bar because it's a legal way to get fucked up. Ex-conversely, one hit of Racine and the man will put your hand in a bracelet chained to another bracelet around your other hand. Is that too long of a sentence? This poem is about color. about how coke gets so much more leniency in sentencing than crack simply because it's just that white. Why is that, God? Why do emergency vehicles drive slower through inner city neighborhoods? You're not standing crooked, she says, sober as a judge. The room is just cocked like a service revolver. This be that fire a freebasing phoenix frantically fraps its wings at like a maniac on a broken phonograph. I hit it and acquit it. I adjust Lady Justice's dress just so her tits stop cyclopsing me. When I said, love your God and love your neighbor, I had my mind all up in your gutter. That's how perversions of justice work. That's how addiction epidemics get treated as criminal acts instead of public health crises. And still, on those two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Commandments straight and narrow as poplar trees. So crucify me to them, officer. Dangle me from them like ornament. He repeats it like a maniac on a broken phonograph. We back the badge. We back the badge. Lawn after manicured lawn. Stop me if you've heard this one. Two gods walk into a bar. The third one just passes it, which means she's now a lawyer. That's why she's taken to drinking, standing straight in a crooked room. There is only one law, nor water, nor fire. You can't wash your hands of it, lather as you may. One day, this room here gonna get straightened out, and then we'll see who's left standing. That's that.
Oh, yeah.
This is my song. This song is my prayer. Love, open our hearts so peace can live there. So peace can live there. This is my song. Something is terribly wrong when my daily observation is violence, greed, and hate. This is not why we are here. There's no debating this country's fueling our fear. I digress. Because I'll admit, life is far from picture perfect. But when we look beneath the surface, it all becomes worth it. Everything happens for its own specific reason. People grow just like plants and change just like seasons. I'm believing if the sun wasn't shining and even beaming, nothing on this earth to be living. Even breathing. So I must thank love for everything that I'm seeing on this beautiful planet I call home. But it's so amazing what we can do with the brain that's in our domes. We have to heal this planet. The children can't wait, but first, we gotta separate the real from the fake. Fill ourselves with love by understanding the hate. Some people in money may have to take a break because the love affair has gone on way too long. Some people in money may have to take a break because the love affair has gone on way too long. And it's the reason that greed and hunger have grown way too strong. If we're gonna be a part of this change that's going on, we gotta look inside ourselves and find that giving song. Way past time for the spiritual revolution. We as people are the problem, we have to be the solution. Let's take a step back and look at what we're doing. Look at all the things that we have ruined. Our creative mind, soon there'll be nothing left to take. This is my song. This song is my prayer. Love, open our hearts so peace can live there. So peace can live there. This is my song.
was in this crazy professor's class on 9/11, and she decided she was going to wear a scarf the week that it happened. Big deal. Like you can put religion on and take it off, just like a hat. But I wore a hat that year a lot because I felt like I needed to fit in. I'm a professor who wore a scarf the week of 9/11. I wore it on campus, I wore it around the community. My student was right. I didn't have a clue, but I did it anyway. I remember going to the Kohl's department store and I bought some t-shirts for my kids. And I remember walking through the line to buy my things, and it seemed like the sea parted before me as I walked through the store. And I remember the clerk looking at me, and she picked up a shirt that I was going to buy, and she said, "Oh, we like sports." And then she took the next one, and it had a logo on it. And she said, "Look, look, she likes the Packers. You watch the Packers?" I am the wife of a man who owned a gas station in northern Racine. I went to work that morning with my child. I put her on a blanket and told my husband not to come to work that day because I was afraid for him. I remember there was a woman who came in. She was wearing a scarf, but I didn't recognize her. One of my customers offered to buy her a cup of coffee, and he did. And he said, "Some of the best coffee in Racine, right here." But we lost our business anyway. People stopped coming. I am an Albanian refugee. My husband and I lived in a pop-up camper for 2 years. We helped build the mosque in Kenosha County. I remember walking our children to school, and there were people across the street taunting us, and someone spat at our children. I was fortunate. I had my husband, and the children at the school didn't say anything. I am a Bosnian grandmother. I was forced to watch while my daughter was raped, and we were both forced to watch as they took my infant grandchild and put her in the microwave oven. I am from a village in Africa. They took me when I was 13. I have 2 children. My sister is dead. My cousin, they took when she was 11. She does not remember anything else. She does not want to go back. I am a fashion designer from Turkey, and we are going global. And our business is selling more to the non-Muslim women than to the Muslim women, but we are going to be on the runway in Paris next year. I am the woman on the beach in France who was forced not only to take off my hijab, but my tunic in front of everyone on that beach. I am a girl in Jerusalem. I strapped a bomb to my body. I walked onto a bus, and now we are all dead. No one could promise me a heaven of virgins. I am a worker for Save the Children. The roads are blocked. They're stealing the food. They are killing the doctors. They are bombing the hospitals. What do you people listen to in your fancy new headphones? I am the first Muslim American woman to win a medal at the Olympics. I did not win gold, but I will be back. I am the sister of your worst enemy. I am the daughter of your wildest dreams. I am a gold star mother. I am you. Thank you.
I am not your conscience, nor will I be your ego. I am at best and worst your latest great mistake. Why did you surmise that I would go quietly? To remain mute, shamed by their accusing stares, statements untrue upon your lips, your lies were out of hand? Even now, stone angel, vestal virgins avert their eyes at your approach, shamed by your very presence. Would you by any other name be evil less incarnate? Excuses expressed to an eerily empty confessional, such a lonely box of broken promises covered with silence unbelieved, words wasted, falling on the absent, panting priest, the accolades now lent to times lost in the loins of tender youth who tend your needs, aiding, as it were, in your times of stress, duress, regress, undress, the feelers confess the urge, the needs to help address, to strip away the layers of conceit, left no longer confused, bruised, abused with a lilting, laughing leer, absolution offered to the idle adolescents. Let passion's splendor pass into hours spent in the flicker of flames of prayers sought and bought with crumpled singles, tissues dissolved, silver tears of those so very alone still after all these many years. Those who seek solace in the sanctuary of blessed hope deny thy touch. The church's caress explained as even God's approval pleasured worth upon one even such as I, allowed to express the gratitude of gratification, or to grieve at what cost the loss of innocence. Surely these immaculate misconceptions, these exploits of the mighty who would never be excised or exposed, at least not by those who accept Hubris as their right. They who swill Manhattan's a more sophisticated version of the grape, whisper softly, lest they be forced to admit that yours is not the first name, but rather only the last in a list, much too long to express with dignity. The litany of the carelessly misplaced, outlawed at the expense of those who will never learn your name. You say it's love. The mighty staff will lead, but only if you follow. Then why must shadows always shield your soul? The mask of masquerade. Do lies and lack the cost or accuse less openly? Does the light of day burn away the omission of sin not paid for in advance? or merely illuminate the players of self-delight. I am not your conscience, nor will I be your ego. Forgive me, Father, for you have sinned.
Picture this. I'm sitting in the library cranking out a paper, and a certain someone who called Bob stops by me early. Such a wonderful question. Bob says, someone just asked me, you know that girl in our class, referencing me, why is she so angry? You know, I wonder what Bob said in my defense. I mean, let's be honest, I don't think Bob knows me well enough to defend me. How could I defend me? Well, for starters, I don't need a defense. If you honestly need to ask me why I am so angry, then you just don't get it. You just don't get what it is to be other in more ways than one here at your sinus. If I speak too loudly with too much emphasis and conviction, then I am not being a lady. I'm an outspoken, opinionated, dare I say it. And then let's couple that with me being proudly black. Now I'm the angry black girl. Why am I so angry? Nothing makes me angrier than people who think they know, but they really don't. People who tell me that they voted for Obama and would have voted for Hillary too, and in the same breath tell me why affirmative action is reverse racism, and retell the story of a black kid who took someone's spot at Yale, Princeton, Harvard, etc. These are the same people who say they understand the plight of the black race because they watch a TV or listen to some political or conscious rap, or my personal favorite, had a really good black friend in high school. If I were to ask now what they didn't understand before they watched The Wire, or listened to Leave Willie, or Common, then I'm being aggressive. Am I calling them racist? Why am I so angry? These are the same people who say they want to commit their lives to social justice. They want to end inequality in public policy, education, employment. These are soon-to-be Teach Corps members, PhD students, and other people in our classrooms. These are people who you might eat with in Weismer one weekend, or who you might hold the door for at the library, or who you might see in Walmart one weekend. Yes, these are the same people who say slavery ended years ago, and everything got fixed with the civil rights movement. They might say their family's not even from here, or they might skip all the rhetoric and say they are just downright not responsible for racism. But when I say they are responsible, when I say every white person benefits in some shape, way, or form from simply being white, and some people do not take advantage of that privilege, then I'm being aggressive. Am I being racist? Why am I so angry? There are those who acknowledge white privilege. Oh, they repent, they confess, and they apologize, and they think that's what every black person wants, an apology. When in reality, they don't want me to feel better, they want to feel better. They want the vindication. But why can't I forgive them? Why am I still so angry? I'm angry because all the countless times people tell me to be nice or to calm down. I'm angry because I'd rather be known as an angry black girl instead of the daughter, sister, aunt, or friend. I'm angry because people know what it is to be other in more ways than one. I'm angry because people don't want to know. If you keep asking me why I am so angry, why don't you just ask yourself, why aren't you? Thank you.
The mansion in the sky is a forgotten world, haunted with profound gloom, gazing at the blue trees outside the window. Hawks perch on the parapet. Handmade doors of roots transform everydayness with the foundation of multiple seasons, whose equal citizenship in symbolic reigns originates in imaginary sailboats sailed by everyone exciting adults and children of all types from long ago build global governments that annul death and live forever. Elected officials hoist invisible flags, searching for unlimited peace and freedom, ready for the sparkling rivers of eternity, steaming with the truth of famous loneliness. Problems are fantasies more arbitrary than bigoted fish in outdated oceans, climbing the sheer face of communication, uncovering the trivial goals that litter the leafy glade of infinite space. Second part. Amidst hypothetical trains, the kings of dust set their tiny watches of bones for the anticipated hour of doom that legions of potato bugs could do nothing about in lifting the tiring weight of tyranny. In their ordinary glass cages of extension cords, the exhausted paragraphs that died in slippers, the white handles that died in torn wallpaper, feeling the coolness of September. As patches of orange lilies think new nocturnal thoughts spontaneously across the meadow of permanence, holy in moonlight. Millennial and centennial wars probe the bourgeois psychologies of SUVs, the millipede feet that trample civilization. Waking from an unusual hoax, the rare yellow double tree, whose scheme obstructs the exiled consciousness of deserted downtown parking lots. Thank you.
Black American dads, where the fuck they at? Society got them trapped. With jailhouse, child support, mental slavery, emasculation, it's a wrap. Half of us don't even know who our father is, and the other half is still waiting on empty promises. No wonder why our generation is broken, full of generational curses. No guidance, no structure. Our race is full of destruction. We are being killed at a faster rate, and not by the cops, but by the hands of our own brothers. Emotionally beat by our mothers, who turn into our women, and then into our daughters. Her pain is the cause of our suffering. She allowed the oppressors to come in and enslave us. They say if you want to control the nation, kill the father and control the mother. Program her to see, think, feel, and need us, and her children will follow. Remove moral values, and now their neighborhoods are like jungles. Use them for entertainment and entertain their minds in order to enter and tame them like wild animals. Show them they come from rips and chains, and then glorify them in images with whips and chains. So they never have money.
Rewind! I heard like 6 rewinds.
Okay, I'm gonna go back. Use them for our entertainment to entertain their minds in order to enter and tame them like wild animals. Show them they come from whips and chains, and then glorify them in images with whips and chains, so they never have money. Economically, they're dummies. Poison the air they breathe, their food, their water. Keep them sick but functional. Turn them against each other using height, weight, and skin tone, so they become a competition and not supportive of each other. Beat them out their spiritual beliefs and paint our face on the image we force them to praise. Make them think that they were created in the image of God with our face programmed in their subconscious mind. They will then pour all their energy into seeking our approval. Give them black leaders to gain their trust, but will mislead them. A leader that will direct their energy towards a race war to become equal. Limit their education, now who's left to teach them? Change their DNA structure with vaccinations. Flood their neighborhoods with drugs, disease, and alcohol poisoning. Make them sterile with birth control methods. Kill their womb with abortions. Then teach them that all lives matter. Make them materialistic, but have the slave to afford it. Lower their vibration with the music. Degrade their women with reality television that tells lies through their vision. Take their warrior men and turn them into athletes. Keep their mind busy so they don't have time to think. keep their history whitewashed so they remain spiritually weak, do whatever is necessary to keep them in our illusion. In order to preserve our race and have power over them, we must force them into this cycle. And this, my friends, is how you keep a nation of people in bondage. This is the result of a Willie Lynch syndrome. Thank you.
Dust in the wind, but I forgot this isn't Kansas anymore. Following the yellow brick road lined with these dwarf mines towards my next destination, this other dimension I'm in, not only of sight and sound, but of mind. Rod Sterling called it the Twilight Zone. Nobody believes there's a ferocious beast tearing apart the wing of this plane. They all think I'm crazy. They'll figure out the truth in the end. I'm failing to figure out how advancements in medicine and technology bring about a sense of ignorance, along with the wisdom and knowledge I seek, is an alarm clock big enough to wake the sleeping masses, and they say nothing's impossible. I don't understand these helix consumed with this physical realm. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, all is vanity, as King Solomon wrote, and he was one of the wisest men of all. I guess it's all just rungs on the proverbial ladder towards the incomprehensible. Patience truly is a virtue. Know thyself, a philosophy that causes me to study my every thought and action. But in a constantly changing world, can we even truly know who we are as opposed to who we were? Because nothing to do with the, because would we ourselves not be in constant change as well? I have nothing to do with the creaking machinery of humanity. Henry Miller, I couldn't have said it better myself. Although I'm not on my pillow, I think everyone sees the horns I feel growing. I'm dying, and dying. My disgust is undying. I have a sense that I'm descendant of Enoch, and if so, when can I, or why can't I be taken to the heavens as he was? What is it I need to fulfill to obtain such a divine gift? I feel as though any civilization on any other planet is far more sophisticated than Earth's, no matter how advanced. So any chance to leave will be taken. I've sailed away on an open course for the virgin seas, my mind exploring the celestial expanses of the universe, my body remaining dormant on Earth, if only a way to unite the two, relieving the physical from its suffering. I anticipate the moment the bread of humanity crumbles, and the birds of retribution pick it clean, leaving us void in an abyss of lost cause.
This doesn't have anything to do with anything. We just wrote it.
The art of masturbation, Rorschach test by Pollock.
Reaching for disinhibited inhibitions, twisted hands in the wrong panties.
The seed is fertilized by the egg, old men are born to grow into babies.
Slaughtered by the inorganics of organic earth, fertilized by the blood of their fathers, fathers, and forefathers, for fathers to turn on their young.
Cross-dressed excess of X's, expelling extra ecstatic extractors, ecstasy-filled examples of excellence.
Pyelonephritis was Aphrodite's true problem, but the wine was good, just not the foreplay.
The idyllic harangue against inception, immaculate conception, Jesus born south of the border.
Chaos and disclosure, amalgamate the anachronistic apostate.
Ameliorate the cacophonous castigation.
Having an epiphany while commencing the final ejaculation.
After all, there's an art to masturbation.
One. Why do you kick me down and demand that I do not embrace my African heritage, and in the same breath put me on a pedestal because I have slightly lighter skin? As if the closer I am to white, the more beautiful I become? As if immense amounts of melanin, skin glimmering like gold under sunlight, is an ugly thing, something to be ashamed of? 2. White people, your ignorance is dangerous. Why do you take this freedom of expression thing so far? How are you still denying racism so obstinately as you argue with a complete stranger on Facebook that hashtag All Lives Matter while the George Zimmerman trial plays on the television behind you? It's only background noise. Why are you deaf to the sobs of the innocent dead black men, black women, black children, black people as they watch down on this land of the free and pray that someone finally has some fucking mercy? While you ride around in your truck, Confederate flag hanging from the back, blowing in the wind with so much power. 3, that's a funny word, power. I've never known what that feels like. My father has never known what that feels like. His brothers and sisters have never known what that. Sisters will never know how it feels to have power. But they have all learned to live in full body armor, to keep their lips sewn intricately together with barbed wire, felt the chilling ghosts of rusted metal shackles locked tightly around their ankles, pulling them barefoot across hot, sharp rocks that inserted themselves so deep into the soles of their feet, it turned their souls into sedentary. I am not saying that everything is black and white, but please remember, there is no gray area for hatred.
Waiting on waters, waiting on waters, children wait. In on waters, God's gonna trouble them waters. God's gonna trouble them waters. Today I watched the news. It wasn't like I just turned on the television set and I was watching the pictures being depicted on the screen. I mean, I actually watched the news. As I began to, watch, I began to absorb and I realized that they dealt with us all in some shape, form, and fashion. You got baby mothers chastening, consisting of selling quested leaf for trees while young future leaders lie destitute, being murdered by police, but we incessantly breed our seeds into this copy-paste lifestyle still depicted as real. Oh, my bad. For those of you slangerly challenge what I speak of is real. You got politicians misusing trust, therefore pushing we back to the streets. Now how are we expected to reach if those designated to teach breach the constraints of trust? Now this I must pray. But the sanctuaries of prayer, they've been corrupted by the Leviathans who prey on the fragile. False prophets walk the land where hope is all that's left. In addition, they pilfer as if the primary design was one that emulates theft. Souls become victims of theft as the light begins to shine brighter over the stages where club ladies lie in hazes. Drunken stupors of regret leaves those in emotional and psychological dazes. It totally amazes me that even in the symbol social classes, you got individuality, separatism, override uniformity, aggressive lesbian she with a verbal statement, come on like a boy to me. It's all so annoying to me. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. You got budgets, gangs, gas, adultery, fornication, and rape, Christian leaders, government officials, and local politicians all stand at the gate. If you can manage to appall the creators of it all, then there definitely needs to be a stance because the system has a way of covering it all up. Therefore, abused by deceivers at first glance now, the Minister of Finance seems to hold the key to all lustful desires, catapulting our adolescents to pools of fire as opposed to what they deeply aspire to become. Why can't I just have my best friend back? He was only sitting on a porch when he was visiting when bell rings. She was only grabbing her groceries the first thing of summer when the sun was glistening. 2 bells ring. Silence, laughter at the park where the grammar school kids swing. 3 shot, 4 shot, 5 bells ring. See, that chime is the sound that the heavens make when another angel gets their wings. Gone too soon. Hood curvatures aligned with teddy bears and balloons. T-shirts and obituaries to remember the fallen. Cold hands left to touch only. Silence memories of a young man who lost his father too early, so he really didn't smile that much. So he left home strapped up. 6 shots, 7 shots, 9 bells ring, 10, 11, 23. More than 500 bells rang in Chicago already. In Chicago in 2016. We must come together. And I want y'all to wake up and I want y'all to repeat after me. When I say 1, 2, 3, I want y'all to say we must come together. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. We must come together. Come on, man. I'm gonna need y'all to say that like y'all mean it. 1, 2, 3. We must come together. Because this is where we fail as a society. If we can come together with a universal concern, then we can maximize the propriety instead of sitting back and letting them all just lie to me. Or will we continue to confide in the lies and sit idly by until someone force your bed to ring? Thank you.
Donald Trump calls for the total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Donald Trump says, I love the Muslims.
44 days until the general election.
Did your parents force you to wear them?
Are your parents mad that you don't?
Where are you from?
Kenosha?
No, like where are you really from?
Wisconsin?
English must have been so hard on you since, it's not the language of your people.
Do you mean before or after I graduated with a degree in English?
Did you hear about the bikini?
Oh, you mean how apparently terrorists hide under it?
I'm just as shocked as you are.
44 days until the man calling Muslim refugees the equivalent of cancer takes one of the fanciest seats in the world.
Well, they could be bringing in ISIS fighters with them. Them, of course, not you, because you're one of the good ones.
Oh, gee, thanks. 44 days until
celebrating a Muslim holiday in America might be questioned.
Did you hear that Eid, the Islamic holiday, was almost on 9/11 this year?
Trump would have had a field day with that. I can see it already. Muslims celebrate 9/11.
Only 44 days until we're gone.
Did you know that 57% of the headlines today about Muslims are negative anyways?
Dang it, I knew someone would see me the day that I was too lazy to match my outfit to my hijab. 44 days until seeing someone with a gun will scare me more than it already does.
Come on, it's just the Second Amendment.
Until I walked to my car and saw a man with a gun in his pocket standing next to it, until the fear paralyzes you as you realize that there's no place to run. You're a target with that neon light on your head.
And who will be there to save us?
Let's start a new reality series called The Real Muslims of America, starring
me doing normal Muslim things do.
Like watching Netflix and eating pizza? Yeah, apparently that actually happens. 44 days until
I really have to worry about the kid who called me a terrorist at school.
Unless we make America safe again. But at that point, what could possibly make it safe again? I don't mind the question.
I don't mind the assumptions.
But why does the media make it seem like we're being affected by religious corruption?
When did the hijab become a physical barrier, rendering others incapable of seeing us as the same?
Our parents came seeking gardens of freedom, but they didn't realize that freedom meant we'd be asked to bleed, to show if our blood type reflected who we'd be. M-U-S-L-I-M.
I transform abstract clouds into colors on paper.
I turn blank lines into characters and dreams.
I paint portraits out of 50 shades of love and sorrow like some kind of creator.
I listen to patients tell their stories and pull out futures from between the seams.
Who will still tell me who I am today?
And who will tell me who I will be tomorrow?
In 44 days, we can determine the future
and prevent the chance that I
could be perceived differently.
Because how could a scarf on my head make me different from the sister I've grown up with and read to before bed?
Because how could my prayers make me any less of a threat than the sister who taught me to smile even when the world made me down?
In 44 days, we can prove that the world does not need love, it is engulfed in it.
In 44 days, my voice
and my voice will be just as loud as everyone else's. Tell your story.
Tell your story.
But don't tell ours. And the prayers we pray?
Well, in 44 days, the loser will need a little bit more of those.
Thank you.
Look at me. See me. Hear me. I'm standing in front of you. Don't walk by. Don't roll your eyes. Don't heave those heavy sighs. I'm standing in front of you. Should I scream? Is this a dream? I'm standing in front of you. Look at me. See me, hear me, please. Oh, pretty, pretty please. I'm standing in front of you. Look, see, hear, standing in front of you. Standing right in front of you. Standing right here in front of you. Thank you.
Croissants don't break bones. Don't entertain thoughts of holding down another croissant, beating it into submission, grunting violation in entrails. Donuts don't break bones. Don't segregate by sprinkles, chocolate coverings, vanilla fillings, hang others till bodies stop twitching, have never whipped other donuts till screams filled the night sky. Bagels don't break bones. Don't weep disappointments as they beat their own children bloody, have never disowned gay bagels, hurling them out into the streets. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I just want them to feel this shit when I say it. Hear what I'm saying. Feel what I'm saying. And not just fear what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Times are rough. This world is cold and motherfuckers want to kill us. So we got to get bold. Stand up and say enough is enough. Like what the? Man up when it really gets tough. Man up. Woman up. Because let's be real, we all need that woman. Because we ain't winning without our women. First things first are our women and our children. Because we ain't winning without them. And what are we fighting for if it ain't them? Him, her, kings, queens, princes, princesses, gods, and goddesses. We roam this earth in a haste, in search of a taste, in search of what's great, in search of a place to call home when we already have our own. We've been fighting Rome. We've been fighting for a seat when we already have thrones. All we gotta do is go home and leave this place where it belongs. Right here. Leave it alone. Leave it behind. Long, long gone. If I was recording, this would be a new song and a new tune. We have to do it a new way and stop trying to integrate. I mean, think about it. You have never seen that with any other race. We are the only ones who beg to be accepted by people who don't want us. A system that has made it clear that they are not for us. The country and a nation that has always been against us. It is foolish to think that they would ever defend us. We have to go home. We have even bought into the lie that home is wrong. We suffer from Stockholm Syndrome. Right. We all messed up. We want freedom, but not a freedom. Oh, come on. Where we can be allowed to free roam. Because once upon a time, we were strong. I mean, strong enough that we almost captured Rome. But now, we'd rather be here, being slaughtered by our captors, than home with our own factions, dividing our own land into our own fractions. Because all BS aside, that's what's happening. Shot down by a figment of your imagination. Shot down for the job. Modern day castration. Shot down by a so-called nation. Shot down because we don't have our own nation. I mean, really think about it. Even during the so-called war on terror, you didn't see these things happen to the Arabs. It happens to us because we are not unified on an international level. Because we are too busy always separating each other for some reason. It'd be the same shit, just a different season. If we not gangbanging on the streets, we be gangbanging on beats, or we be gangbanging about religion. Who is God? What is his name? Hebrew, Moorish, Kemetic, white Jesus, black Jesus. Islam, Christianity, Muhammad, Osiris, Amen-Ra, Ashe, Amen, Amin. Anything for us to disagree. Because when it comes to me, I know we can all agree that being gunned down in the streets ain't right. So let's focus on that instead of arguing about something we can't even see. That's how it's supposed to be. No matter what God you believe in, no matter what you pray to at night, and even your sexual preference, doesn't change the fact that we are brothers and sisters, sisters and brothers, not because of the color of our skin, but because we have the same mother, Mama Africa.
Attention, fathers, you need to understand. You're very much wanted, you're in demand. No narrative, no chronicle can ever erase the relevance, the value of your God-given place. So break free from your rackets of guilt, shame, and failure, and embrace the ones you fathered. You can love them like no other. Don't wilt, don't buckle, don't turn away. There's too much at stake for society's sake. No, there may not be a chorus to cheer you along the way. And yes, there are realities for which you cannot escape. Yet take notice and understand to stand for your offspring defines you as a man. So be emboldened, be encouraged, and know this much is true. It's your legacy, your story, the righteous thing to do. Who is this little girl who always leans on me, keeps grabbing onto me and won't let me go, who pranks and jokes, and she puts on magic shows? She refuses to be ignored, stubborn as a boar, but often lying on my lap or leaning on my shoulder. She stares intently at my features, and I start to wonder about this delicate creature. She definitely seems to love me in a way that seems mind-boggling. And to love her, well, she will accept nothing less. So is she? Who is she? She's my little girl, my princess, my precious, my daughter. Thank you.
All I see is fat asses with some tig-old bitties. Sit on the sink so her ass looks fatter. Bad bitch shit's pretty. The whole city's mood is to get some great head while smoking some good weed. As I proceed to scroll down my timeline, all I see is the fine dimes that wouldn't give me the time of day. Now time's ticking, I'm watching the clock. I'm 21, still ain't on it, why am I dicking around? Eggplants and peaches ain't in my emoji column. Rejection's my problem, smoke weed to solve it. Excuse me if you feel I'm just talking shit. While I'm up here, I'm gonna talk my shit. Why every girl in a relationship goal means like the meanest girl you ever seen. In a Lamborghini, Coke bottle figure with no bikini. Now it feels as if I'm dreaming. Scheming for ways to live a life of luxury. Have the status of a celebrity. And all I see people posting is clips of bitches riding and stroking. Starts playing over and over. Shit, the video's even in slow motion. Just imagine the kids seeing the same shit. So when they grow to be men, all they want is the same chick. 5'5", thick as ever, hit it in the morning naked while she cooks my breakfast. Now porn stars are all I'm expecting. Staying abreast is trying to think of ways to impress her, so I can address her. Maybe if I buy enough jewelry, she'll be the one addressing me. Girls that resemble Cardi B and Lisa Ann will be the one sexing me. Chasing after a dime piece for the sexual rage of ecstasy. Sex sells just about everything. Wanna have the typical American dream. Only problem is, I don't look like Channing Tatum. Just to these chicks, I'm Danny Phantom. Never had the perfect girl because I don't live in a mansion. Never will I be your hotline bling. Never will I have my left hand steering while the other one is gripping your thigh. So I light a spliff up and get high and wonder why I can't compare to these guys. See, I know this media got us brainwashed. I can't respect natural beauty. So instead of waiting for a girl that would cherish me, I don't even speak because the thought of rejection is too embarrassing. So I got sucked into these porno prosperities and hit up this hole that I know that would go for me. Now I feel like I'm caught up in slavery. Don't need a K-jeweler's ring for you to marry me. We can jump over this broomstick, dive off of the slave ship, and flip off of masters. The ones who stop making me believe in spiritual beauty. The ones who stop me from looking in your eyes, so instead I just stare at your booty. I say she got a nice ass, and she walk around like she don't pass gas, and walk past every lane that be dying to smash. I'm sorry that this virgin is a sex addict, but the only reason I'm addicted is because I can't have it. Thank you.